name is Lauren Brock, and I'll be going over multiple ways to use Desmos and Socrative in your pre-calc trigonometry class. My lesson is on trigonometry, so my first lesson is introducing the unit circle. So students can complete this lesson on Desmos, which I just found online. Where I can see from this page are the different slides, and I can choose to edit them as needed. For the purposes of this presentation, I signed in under a student named John Smith, and you can see that going through, there's multiple options for questions, so there can be multiple choice questions, and then there can be fill in the blank answers, which I'll get to in a little bit. There can be matching, so if I think this graph has an angle of 160 degrees, I can match those together. Another helpful thing is that students can check their own work. So if I thought that the angle 560 degrees fell in quadrant 2, Desmos will actually show me the animation so I can check my work and then change my opinion based off of that. From a teacher's perspective, what I can see is whether students are getting them right or wrong. So if you go under the summary here, it shows that John Smith got something wrong on this slide. So if I take a look here, I can see that he got negative 60 degrees is in quadrant 1, which is incorrect. I can choose to snapshot this and look under my snapshots. And if I drag it in here, we can present this to our class and decide whether the different answers can appear, which of these answers rather is incorrect, and we can have a class discussion about that. Another way to use Desmos for your classroom would be for an exploration. So my students are paired into groups of 3 or 4, and students can work together just to explore the main coordinates of the unit circle due to reference angles or reference triangles. So they're mostly broken up into 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45 triangles. So if we look at the 30-degree triangles, those are your pi over 6s for radians. You can see that those coordinates are going to be very similar, and they're all just symmetric over that origin. So this would be a good activity for students to see the relationship as to why those coordinates have those degrees. The next tool to introduce is called Socrative. So it can be used in multiple ways. It can be used as a quiz, space race, or exit ticket. I could also pose a quick question to my students. Students could access this on the laptops or on their smartphone if they choose. So for a quiz, I can choose to create my own quiz, which I have here. I created the quiz on evaluating trig functions. And teachers have the option of delivering it in multiple ways. They can give instant feedback, which I would choose to do. It tells the student whether they are right or wrong immediately. Open navigations allows the students to go back and check their work or to change their answer. But since my students are in groups, I want to be able to see what they know independently and not to be able to go back and change their answers after talking to somebody. Teacher Pace also allows me to pause as necessary, so I can click instant feedback and then begin. So I can take my class set or my class name from the top of my classroom, and if I log in under a student, I type in the room name, and I can type in a student's name as well. And then this is what the quiz looks like from the student's perspective. So if I think this, what angle measure has a sine value of √3/2, if I thought that that was pi over 3, I could submit that and it would tell me I am correct. But if I think the cosine of pi is equal to 0, if I think that that is true, I would hit that and it could tell me that it is incorrect. From a teacher's perspective, I can click on results, which is at the top here, and I would be able to see that John Smith in this one that I was just doing got the first one right and got the second one wrong because he answered that it was true when it should have been false. Another way to use Socrative in your classroom is to use an exit ticket. So when you create an exit ticket, 3 questions will appear. So on another screen, I have typed in my classroom code. And then when you join, it's going to ask for your name again. And it'll ask you 3 different questions. How well did you understand today's material? I can be completely honest about this. I can say something that I've learned in class today. So I'll just say unit circle. And then answer the teacher's question, meaning that the teacher, myself, could pose a question to the class. Maybe what is the sine of pi over 3? In what quadrant would the angle of 7 pi over 6 lie in? So those are just a couple of different ways that you can utilize Socrative and Desmos into your pre-calc classroom.